Hello everyone. So in this video we're going to be talking about the waiting games of a narcissist. And of course I don't know exactly what it is that they're keeping you waiting for in your situation. It could be validation, closure. Maybe you owe them money and you're waiting for them to pay you back. Or maybe they're delaying a specific court date. Don't know exactly what it is, but pretty much in every situation, when you're dealing with a narcissist, it's really all about control. And that's why they're making you wait. Because they're not like us. They're not seeking a sense of resolve. They like conflict because they're at conflict with themselves. They're at conflict with themselves every day. They have this inner dialogue. And that's what they're constantly battling with. So they're never at peace. They're never happy. They're never calm. And that's why they like to create chaos and dysfunction in the external environment as well, because then it makes them feel better. When they have something to compare themselves to, something to contrast with. So essentially, they like to cause all of this chaos for you in your life. They like to keep you waiting, cause you all of these problems. Pretty much just so then they have something in contrast to themselves and their own lives and to their own demons that they're battling with. And then they get to feel like it's not so bad. They get to live in this fantasy. And of course, since many of you, you're empathic, you're people pleasers, you're highly agreeable, so you're gonna believe it. If they cause all of these problems in your life and then they portray it to you as though everything's going good for them, you're gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. You're not gonna question it. And of course, that's what they want. And they manipulate you, they brainwash you into seeing things this way. So essentially, this all just revolves around their insecurities. Any type of control that you see from a narcissist is because they're insecure. That's why they play these waiting games. That's why they leave things open-ended, unanswered, so that they then get a sense of control, power, from feeling like they know things that you don't. They have information that you need. It enhances their sense of desirability. It makes them feel wanted, needed, and of course, that's very important for narcissists. They need constant validation because they're so insecure. And that's why everything is so closed off with them. They want to keep themselves at a distance from you and not give you what you need. And instead play these little games with you and toy with you. These are the behaviors of someone who is deeply insecure, who really does not like themselves that much. And that's why they want to cause all of these problems for you. Because this is it, you know. When someone is secure, when someone feels whole and complete within themselves, and you know, naturally they are going to want a sense of resolve. They are going to be positive, optimistic, and they're going to want to give you what you need. If they can feel that you're insecure about something, they're going to want to give you that closure. They're not going to withhold it from you. Narcissists do because of their insecurities. They feel like they're not good enough unless they do that, unless they play these waiting games, unless they withhold things from you. That's what makes them feel better. And so essentially their entire false image, their false identity, it's fake. It's all just based off of you. It's based off of manipulating and controlling you and withholding things from you. Because just think about it like this, I mean, they want to present this false image to you, but would they still feel secure in that if they weren't withholding from you, taking from you, playing these waiting games? Of course they wouldn't. You would start to see more of the passive aggression, more of the rage again. Because it's all based off of you. It's all based off how you're feeling, how you're doing. What you don't have, what you need. They take their cues from you. So what you're seeing, it isn't even anything real. And apologize for the constant foot stomping coming from above. I actually haven't had barely any sleep for the past 6 weeks. And I've reported it to the security several times, but they all just ignore it. Fortunately, I'm getting out of here in a week. So I'm waiting for that. But yeah, I mean, these narcissists, they're deeply insecure. That's why they play these games. Because of course, it takes some level of confidence to deal with things seriously. Instead of just making a big joke out of it. Instead of having to dominate as they do. And so this all comes from insecurity. That's why they do the things that they do. It's because they couldn't bear to confront reality. They couldn't bear to see you confident and secure by having what you need, by having that closure. Instead of having to wait constantly. And yeah, so they play these waiting games, and many of them, they're hoping that you're going to reach out to them first, because that then feeds their ego. If they can go off somewhere and just act like they don't really need you, they're fine without you, and it's really you who needs them, you're the one who's dependent, then of course, how do you think that makes them feel if there's a person out there who's waiting on them, who's unable to take care of themselves, to even think clearly, because you're ruminating constantly, and they know that you are. They set up the situation specifically in that way so that you do. And it leaves you needing them, because they make it seem as though now they can help you, even if they are the ones who did this to you. So it causes you to develop Stockholm syndrome. It intensifies the trauma bond, because now you're no longer able to even regulate your own emotions. You can't take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, and maybe in other ways as well. If you've borrowed them money and they didn't pay you back, then of course all of these conditions have an effect on you. And it affects your ability to take care of yourself. So it's almost like you become a child. And yet at the same time, they're very irresponsible. So at times they are like an overgrown child themselves, but because that's how they want to be. And in many ways, it's really just you who's taking care of them, such as by them playing these waiting games solely just to make you chase after them. Because that then regulates their emotions. It makes them feel more secure. So this is why they do what they do, and this is why, if there's one thing they can't stand, it's your independence, your autonomy, you being able to take care of yourself financially, emotionally, because then they've got no one to take care of them. If you're just out there doing what you need to do, and you don't need anything from them, then how are they meant to take care of themselves? Because they need you. They need you because all of the things that they've done throughout their lives, all of the things that they're trying to run from, they're trying to hide. They don't want to deal with that. They don't want to go within. And so now they have to look outside of themselves for something to keep them afloat. And of course, that's where you come in. And yeah, the thing is, they can never be satisfied. Nothing you give or do for them, it's never going to be enough. And that's why they play these games. They treat you like a yo-yo. They go back and forth with you because they're constantly needing more and more. They can never sustain themselves. A person with a personality disorder, especially one of the cluster Bs, a person like that can never sustain themselves. They can't take care of themselves. It's not possible. They need constant external support. And that's why they play these games and they delay everything, they stall, because it's to keep you in a state of anxiety and uncertainty. Because again, it's all in contrast to you. If you're anxious, if you're stressed, uncertain, it makes them feel better. It makes them feel more stable and secure within themselves. Especially since it alters your perception. Because they twist it around in you, they provoke you, and then when they get that reaction, then they can calm down. As long as they can affect someone outside of themselves, they can then feel better because they're getting this emotional energy from you. And essentially, it's all just to avoid going within. They don't want to go within and accept all of their problems, their shame. So they just dump it onto you. They just disown the parts of themselves that they don't like and assign it to you. And by them being able to externalize it instead of accepting it within themselves, temporarily, it then allows them to feel better because they disidentify from it. And at that moment, it may have been coming up, it may have been surfacing. And it brought on so much pressure for them that they had to offload it onto you. So they disowned it then, and then by doing that, it made them feel better. Same thing when they play these waiting games, it's exactly the same. This is why they do it. And especially, if you were confronting them, questioning them, threatening to expose them, rejecting their proposals or ideas, it brings up a lot of pressure within themselves where they're having to reflect, take accountability, look within, connect to themselves and their emotions. And that's very painful for them to do. So for them to avoid having to do that, they just have to play a waiting game. Just stall, just delay. It's a form of fantasy, escapism, avoidance. And it's really just dumping everything onto you, leaving you to deal with it, leaving you to carry the weight of it all. So really, even though they target your independence, they make it so that you can't manage yourself anymore. It's really you who's dealing with a child in an adult's body. Someone who doesn't want to own up to things, someone who doesn't want to take responsibility. It's just that they've twisted it around on you as though you are an underdeveloped human and you need to do better, you need to grow. Honestly, the truth is, so many of you, you just need a break. You really do. I mean, you've already done far more than enough. You've taken on far more than one person should ever have to do. And honestly, I mean, if I could be there with you now, I could really show you. It's like, you think you're not doing enough work for them? We could go to an office, a call center, and I could show you you're doing more work than everyone in there put together. And you don't even realize it because you've never been validated. And honestly, this is why you're experiencing anxiety and confusion, insomnia, just all of these things. It's because you're burning yourself out. You're doing far more than one person should ever have to do. And of course, at the same time, they're working against you. They're sabotaging you. And that's causing you to have to do more and more. So you're really just overworking yourself. And you will, you know, when you're with a narcissist, you will be doing more than what 100 people are doing. That's how it is when you're dealing with a narcissist, because they're never satisfied. It's never enough. And you're really doing everything so that you can help them to avoid reflecting on themselves. So you're helping them to deny reality, to live in a fantasy. And to carry the weight of that, it really is unbearable. It really is. But yeah, they love doing this, so that they get to go off acting like they're so desirable and important because they lack self-awareness, you know. They could like drop a bomb on you and just demolish everything in your life. And because they lack self-awareness, they just disidentify from it. And then they make it seem like things are so good for them. They leave you chasing after them. And then they start to feel like they're really something now, like they're so desirable because they got you chasing after them. They get to feel like they're in a better situation now. It's all fake. It's just fantasy. It's not even real. Because they've just disidentified from the things that they had to do to you to put you in that state. And it wouldn't have happened naturally. But this is what they have to do, you know, to enhance their own sense of their desirability. Because deep down they feel completely ugly, worthless, like they're no good, and they are really no good. They don't even want anything to do with themselves. You think they're ever going to come to you and own up to their actions, to what they do? No. They want nothing to do with themselves. And this is why they get other people to chase after them, to enhance their sense of desirability and importance. Because they can't even generate that from within, because they just neglect themselves. They don't take care of themselves. Because it's just too painful for them to go within. And that's why they leave you chasing after something. Because that just gives them a sense of power and control, and it validates them. But you got to know that when they play these waiting games, it is designed to make you doubt yourself. It's designed to cause you anxiety, to make you think that you're wrong about something, you did something wrong. You shouldn't have challenged them on something. You shouldn't have said something. Or it's something you did. It's designed to make you question yourself. To make you think that something is wrong with you, or you need to do better. Or you need to be a psychic. You need to know exactly what is going on in their mind. Exactly what it is they need. In any given moment. And it's because it just builds up this pressure in them. And they expect you to take on these demands, these expectations that they have for you. And this is all just coming from a lack of self-awareness. A lack of one's ability to show up as themselves, so you have to take it all on. And honestly, you doubting yourself, you thinking that there's something wrong with you. You need to make up for it. You need to do better. That's the worst thing that you can do. Because honestly, there's going to be no end to it. This isn't like with a normal person where you can make amends, you can make things right. It's not going to be like that with them. It's never going to be fair. It's never going to be even. I mean, if we're talking about justice, like maybe you did something wrong or you upset them or whatever, it's never going to be enough for them. Even if you do what is fair, what is right, they will exaggerate your flaws or mistakes, and they will minimize their own. They will act like they've done so much for you. They will just blow it all up out of proportion. And honestly, no matter what you do, it's never going to be enough. It never will. They're never going to stop. They're never going to be satisfied. And honestly, what's likely to happen, as it may have happened with many of you already, I mean, even if you work so hard and you try to give them everything to make up for it, this thing that you're meant to have done to upset them, even if it was just you calling them out on something they did. But honestly, no matter what you do, it's never going to be good enough. And they may see you, working hard, you're really trying to please them. You're pushing that big rock up the hill and you're putting all of your energy into it. And just your entire devotion, dedication, you're doing everything just focused on this, pushing this rock up the hill for them. And they will know it's not going to be enough for them anyway. They will know it's never going to be good enough, even if you give the world to them, even if you give the universe. And so they see you working really hard, trying to push that rock up the hill for them. And they're just sitting on their throne, having a good laugh at you. And it makes them feel powerful and in control at first, but then gradually with time, even though you're putting out, even though you're producing for them, they just get bored. They just get bored of it all. And they think, oh, it'd be more fun. Like, what if we just get a crane and just pick up that rock and just dump it on your head instead? That would be better. And so that's typically what they do. They just demolish everything. Even while you're trying to be better, you're trying to do everything for them, because they just get bored. And that's just it. They don't want things to be better. They really don't. They act like they do. But just look at what they do whenever they do get better. What happens when they have someone good in their lives, or they have you, who's loving, compassionate, empathic, trying to be the best that you can be for them? What do they do with it? They just sabotage it all. They destroy it. Because they don't really want anything better. That's why they do what they do. They don't want a sense of resolve. Because what happens, even when they get something better, they just feel like they don't even deserve it anyway. They know they're not good enough for it. They know they're not going to be able to sustain it. Or actually, sometimes they actually just look at you like you're just a fool anyway. And the more attractive you are, the harder you work, the more successful, the more money that you make and share with them, the more that you do, in their minds, you're just even more stupid. You just look even more dumb. You just look like a toy, a doll, a puppet, an inanimate object to them. It doesn't make them respect you anymore. And really, this is all coming out of insecurity. So trying to gain a sense of control, and they just devalue you. The harder that you try, the better that you are. It doesn't make anything better. And so Apologise for the noise again. I cannot get away from it. These losers follow me everywhere. God, you won't believe. The people that I get follow me to the gym, and they're waiting for me to come out of the lift. And earlier today, even one woman, she took the opposite lift at the exact same time as me to come up, so she could walk out when I'm walking out, and then I'd have to look at her. And another woman last night, as I was coming up, she just stopped and just gave me the narcissistic stare right in my eyes for like several seconds. It's like she was like eye screwing me. So creepy, but this is what I have to deal with every day. But yeah, it's not about not being enough. And you may not realize it right now because you think, maybe you could do more. Maybe there is a certain level that finally they will be satisfied with, but there isn't. You give them everything, they get bored, they just want to destroy it. They will never be happy. It's never going to be enough. Of course it's never going to be enough because their happiness does not lie outside of them. It lies within themselves. So they're searching for something outside, trying to dictate and control everything. Well, no, that comes from within anyway. You find that peace from within yourself. And they're doing everything to distract themselves from what's inside. But yeah, from getting you to chase them, that's what makes them feel superior. So it's all just about managing you. It's all about controlling you, containing you. Because of course, if you're doing so much for them, you're doing everything you can to make them happy. Of course, at some point, they're going to start getting insecure. It's going to start to trigger them to reflect on themselves and how they're just not good at anything. And that's how eventually they'll lash out and they'll just sabotage you while you're trying to serve and please them. And then also, there's that sense of dependency. That's what makes them want to destroy everything as well. Because they're becoming so dependent on you, and it's making them feel insecure. It's making them resent you. Especially since they're not looking at the work that you're doing, they're just looking at what you're providing. And in their minds, it's unfair. It's like, why can't that be them? And yeah, sometimes they'll ignore you as a punishment, to punish you for confronting them, exposing them, making them feel insecure, rejecting them on something, not going along with what they want. But make no mistake, there's no confusion about it. This is all calculated manipulation. And this is what these types of people do, Narcissists, and especially higher up the spectrum, if we're talking about sociopaths and psychopaths, they're all about plotting something out, a scheme. And they're thinking about, how do I get from A to B? How do I perform a certain result? How do I make something happen, actualize? How do I trigger it off? It's kind of like, what really does it for them, what really makes them tick, especially sociopaths and psychopaths, is like, how do I knock down every one of these dominoes? Like, if I hit the first one, What's going to make the last one topple over? But especially if I didn't even cause it. Like I just knocked the first one and then the rest just fell over. They really get off on that. They really do, especially since, it's kind of like, with the dominoes. Like they hope it can't be traced back to them. They just knocked the first one down. And then it looks like it was one towards the end. But it wasn't. So they love that. They love like just planning things out, and it makes them feel powerful, when they can get the result that they want. And especially since they've just warped everything, in their minds they have, they've defeated reality. They've suppressed the truth. So in their minds, who needs it? Who needs reality? Who needs the truth? In their minds, they're greater than it. Because they managed to pull you into an alternate reality. They managed to get everyone to believe in their stories. So what's the use in reality? What's the use in the truth, facts? What's the point in any of it? Because they can quite easily pull people into their world, into this alternate world. So clearly they're superior if they can do that. And they just tell themselves in their minds, well, they built this new world is better. And it's like, who's to say what's real? Who's to say what's true? If I can get people to believe in this, and if I can leave you waiting, if I can leave you chasing after me, then who's to say that you're right? Who's to say that I'm the bad person? Because I can make you wait, and I can get you to think that there's something wrong with you. So if you think that there's something wrong with you, if you think that you're bad, if you think that you've got to chase after something from me, then there's no one to tell me that I'm wrong or that I need to make up to anything for you. There's no one to even tell me that. There's no one pressuring me to conform to anything. So in their minds, it's like, job done, mission accomplished. And they just carry on seeking more validation for this false image, as they did with you at the beginning. This is why everything you saw in them, what did you get? You got nothing. You didn't get anything out of it. And why is that? Because it was fake. It wasn't even real, because they stole it from someone else before you. And everything they steal from you, they use that to attract another source. And of course, what do you think is going to happen to them? They get robbed, they get punished, discarded. The cycle continues because no one wakes up, no one confronts them. Or they just run off and they dump everything onto you and they play these waiting games. While they're making you wait, they're off with another source of supply. And they're taking that energy from not giving you the closure, validation, from not paying your money back, and instead just delaying everything, stalling. They're taking that energy and they're going off and using it to attract new sources. Along with any money, possessions, or whatever it is they got from you. They're using this as part of their false image to attract new people. And they're not going to get anything either. They're going to be tricked, they're going to be robbed, and everything the narcissist gets from them, they're going to take it and do the same thing with someone else. This is what they do all the time, and this is why, just take a look around at the world. I mean, it looks like everyone is being deprived, depleted, and you just got a bunch of fake people everywhere who really have no value, they have nothing to offer. They can't improve your life, they can't make you feel better, they can't do nothing. And yet you're constantly giving all of your attention to them, validating this illusion. This is why the world is like this. Because we let these people get away with it. We don't hold them accountable. And so it continues the cycle, and good people who actually care about other people, who actually care about society, this is being done to them. And then these crooks just run off so they can do the same thing to someone else. And this is why everyone is being affected in this way now. Children, families, communities, we all have to deal with this now. Because these people are being elevated. And, you know, when people see people like this, like they're so arrogant, they can talk a good talk, but they can't actually walk the walk. But yet people celebrate it. This is how it is, you know, people would rather celebrate a man who's just been dropped off on the top of a mountain in a helicopter, which anyone could do, rather than someone who actually bled and sweat to climb it. This is what it's like. Because think about it as well, I mean, people have short attention spans. You really think anyone wants to sit there and watch someone climb up the mountain, which could take like several hours? No, they'd rather just watch in 10 minutes, like the helicopter just flying up and dropping someone off. This is what people are like. But yeah. With a narcissist, of course, and us, you know, it's different. It's not that we're just a part of the microwave generation and we've got to have that instant gratification. You know, remember, they're taken from us. They're taking away our sense of peace, causing us anxiety, taking away what's rightfully ours. I mean, that's completely different, of course. I mean, this is the narcissist who needs that instant gratification. They've got so much pressure. It's like, just give me now, feed me. This is what they're like. And this is why, you know, out of desperation, they will do anything to make you believe that they are deserving of what you have. As though it's like an investment, like you give to them and eventually it will be reciprocated. You will get what you need. They give you lies and future faking, and then they run off to do the same thing to the next person. And they're just constantly just living on borrowed time so that they can portray this illusion to people. And it's really bad because it's not real. There's no work, no dedication. There's no passion, meaning, enthusiasm. It means nothing. It has no substance, no depth. And they just want people to worship them, to worship something that isn't even real, that isn't even them. They don't even want you to see them. And who is them? Them, it's based on their true actions, feelings, intentions. They don't want anyone to see that. That's what they're trying to hide. That's why they play these waiting games. So that you don't get to see it. So that you don't get to challenge them on it. Because like I always say, I mean, you think you don't like them. You think you don't want anything to do with them. They don't like themselves. They don't want anything to do with themselves more than anyone. They despise themselves more than you could ever know. And that's why they hide. That's why they go silent. That's why they play these waiting games. Trying to manage all of this with all of the crazy distractions out here. It's incredible how they do it. It's like, you know, I could be looking all the way down here. And they time it. It's very specific timing. It's like the moment I look up, then they do some kind of juggling act to just like throw something in their mouths, like they're like a seal or something, like some kind of wild animal, like giving a dog a treat. And then other time they like slam the door at the exact same time. So I think it's always based on some kind of so producing like an impact or something, like something hitting. It makes sense. I mean, I was hit a lot as a child, so that's probably why that irritates me. But you know, it would irritate anyone, obviously. If like wherever you go, wherever you look, every single day, hours every day, you constantly see someone doing the same thing all the time, of course it's going to develop fear, anxiety of the next time it's going to happen, whatever that action may be. And, you know, especially with the actions that I have to see, it's, as I've mentioned before, I mean, constant door slamming all the time. Anyone get fed up of that. And feet stomping on the ceiling. And like arms waving in my face all the time. And then you call them out to it, and then they're scared then. And they get terrified. Or they just make up some stupid excuse. But the new one they like to do here in Malaysia is like wherever I go. Like sometimes they do the hands waving, but then I look down. And because I wear shades and I try to wear earphones as well, to just try and block out anything they try and show me. Then because I'm looking down, then they just try and simulate these kind of actions, like masturbatory. And even the women do it as well, not just the men, which doesn't make any sense. But then sometimes they do, like for a woman, they do like that. So a lot of it is of a sexual nature. There's definitely some sexual insecurity that they don't want to reflect on, because you know that's why people behave in sexually offensive ways, where it's really out there and it's you know, very intrusive on your boundaries. The reason why they do it, it's out of sexual insecurity. So there's an insecurity there, something that they don't want to confront, usually based on fear or especially shame. Feeling like having some kind of connection with sex makes them feel inadequate. And they're trying to fight against that. But yeah, that's just briefly, you know, what I've been experiencing. And I haven't really talked much about sexual history of a narcissist, because you know, how many of you have been through like what Cassie has dealt with, you know, like rape or something like that. Even though, of course, you know, I have done quite a bit of research on it myself, and you know, I definitely understand the dynamics of it. I know what's going on in these people's minds. I know what they're hiding from. And really it is, you know, these people are cowards. They really are. Even the ones who act in very extreme ways, these rapists, they're just deeply insecure. They're deeply fearful, ashamed. And that's really what this comes down to. Not justifying any of it, of course. You know, I'm completely against any forms of sexual assault, any forms of assault, whether it's of a sexual nature or not. But I'm just saying that, you know, there's always a reason why people do what they do. And most of the time, it has far more to do with them than it does to do with you. Because, you know, of course, it's coming from their body, their vessel. It's their thinking, their brain. First Meeting says it's not about caring about losers, it's about keeping them out of your life. Always, it doesn't matter what games they play, they will realize they have been outsmarted every step of the way. I mean, you know, I see that's in response to someone else. you know, yeah, of course, you're right. It's better not to care about losers. It's better to focus your time and attention on other things that are more productive. But when it's constantly being flaunted in front of your face, it doesn't matter who you are, at some point you're going to say something about it. I mean, you have to, you know, you can't just repress it. You have to let it out because it's being dumped onto you, and you have to accept that, yeah, this is now a part of myself and I'm going to let it go. And of course, it could be very helpful to other people as well, you know, when you do express these things from dealing with losers, because other people may be dealing with losers too. But yeah, you know, it's a good name. You're right, they are just losers. That's what all of these people are, I mean. And they're just doing everything they can to avoid feeling like they're losers and to avoid looking like losers. And that's why they want to make you look like one. They want to make you feel like one. I'm not sure if this is a genuine comment. I mean, I'm a dog too says, how do you distinguish between manipulation versus manifestation? Well, for a start, I mean, manipulation, it becomes a shared fantasy. It's all about manipulating someone else's emotions. Manifestation, that's about manipulating your own emotions. So essentially, you're just making yourself delusional to tune everything else out, activate the RAS system to a certain frequency so that you attract certain things to you, and that so that you take certain actions that you normally wouldn't take. So it's more about yourself than it being about someone else. So it's completely different because you're not bringing someone else into it. You're not lying to them, deceiving them. And, you know, even if they see you trying to manifest something, they're going to know that you're just manifesting. So it's a completely different thing. Strawberry Ice wants advice on how to confront a narc cheating husband with evidence. For a start, I'm very sorry that you're having to go through that. Because of course, you know, if you're married and your husband is cheating on you, especially, you know, when you find the evidence of it, it must be a very distressing experience to go through because, of course, you know, you thought you were in a committed marriage. So, you know, I'm very sorry that you're having to go through that. And, you know, definitely take the time to process those emotions of grief, loss, anger. And what I would say is not to confront them on that. Because typically, if you're dealing with a true narcissist, you can give them all the evidence. You could even have a recording of them cheating on you, and they will just deny it. They will say that it's someone else. Or they'll just accuse you of cheating. Or they'll accuse you of breaching their privacy. It's like, how did you get the evidence? Or they'll make it all about that. So they're not going to let you hold them accountable. If you're dealing with a true narcissist, they're never going to accept it. So you're really just wasting your time. I mean, the only way you can deal with it is, I mean, if you have evidence, then it's likely to be accepted by the court system. So I don't know, you know, depending on where you're living, you could hold him accountable for cheating through the law. You could sue him. And, honestly, that's the right thing to do in this situation, because it's a marriage contract, and you thought you signed up for something, and then you later learn that it's completely different. So you were deceived, you were future faked. Yeah. Yeah, I see these comments about, I'm assuming they're just more trolls. People opposing your religious beliefs and challenge you on that. Honestly, anyone who just tries to challenge or oppose your beliefs, and it's not even like a debate, it's just like a one-line sentence just telling you this is not true. It's just out of insecurity. It's because your reality is threatening theirs, and they feel uncomfortable with that. That they take it as an attack on themselves because of your confidence, your conviction in something. So don't take any of that personally. And also, some people, they get off on stripping you of your values, your morals, maybe because they don't have any, they don't believe in anything. So don't let that get to you. You keep believing in what you want to believe in. If it feels right to you, and if it's good for you, if it motivates you. But also, personally, I would say not to push it on to anyone, including religion. I mean, let people decide for themselves, what they believe in. And, I do the same thing myself. I mean, even though, I'm a vegan, of course, it causes me pain, confusion to see other people eating meat. And it's like, why can't they see it? Why can't they understand, that that's wrong? But of course, it's not for me to make anyone change what they're doing. Even though, of course, it's, it's harm against animals, and, it's quite controversial. But the best way to do it is really just to be an example. Because you try and push something onto someone, and they're going to want to do it even more. So lead by example. If they can see that it's working for you, and just look at me, I've been a vegan now for 5 years. I'm 36, but I look youthful. I've got a glow, so much energy. So of course, people are going to see this and think, oh, maybe I should give that a try. So that's the best way to do it. Because of course, if you're so confident and secure in what you're doing, then you're just going to continue on your path. And you're going to know that, they're not going to find what they're looking for by doing what they do. But personally, I mean, in my ideal world, eating meat would be illegal. It would be against the law. Because, it's like, what do you think about people who are cannibals, have eaten humans? It's wrong, of course, it's illegal, and it should be. But why do we separate animals so much from humans? I mean, those of you who have pets, you have cats, dogs, and maybe you love them more than any human. And, you know, if you really look at the psychological makeup of pigs, cows, maybe even chickens, I mean, it's pretty much the same as a cat or a dog. And in fact, some of those animals are more intelligent. So that's why, you know, in an ideal world, for me, consuming animals would be illegal. And, you know, I absorb all of the pain for all of the animals in this world. The 300 billion animals that are killed every year for food. You know, I take it all on myself. But yeah, this isn't right, you know. I mean, people like overly challenging each other on religious beliefs because, you know, that's a part of your identity. That's what makes you who you are. That could be the reason why you get up in the morning. It's what drives you. But I myself, I'm not really religious. I mean, I was born a Christian. And I mean, you know, I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if any of the religions are true. I mean, how would I know? You know, I'm just a man. I believe that I am a chosen one of God because, you know, I've had a consistent pattern of experiences since I was a child, including even actual communication with the spirits, verbal communication. So, you know, it's impossible for me to not believe in the spiritual world. And, you know, of course, sometimes, you know, I look at like religions and I do wonder, how did they have this information back then? How could they have known? So, you know, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if like one day or, you know, after this life, I get a huge wake-up call and discover that religion was the truth all along. But I'm mostly spiritual myself. And, you know, I believe that all religions, they have to be spiritual in some sense because, you know, we now know that we're just on a rock that's like orbiting the sun. This massive fireball in a vast universe. But yeah, I will have a video that I'm uploading tomorrow about demonic spirits and chosen ones. For real though, Wade says, like I said, they are happy P. Diddy is out of the way. I don't know, you know, it might seem like he's out of the way, but just look at Chris Brown. They thought he was out of the way when he assaulted Rihanna. But then after that, his career got even bigger. He became far more successful after that. But who knows? I mean, you know, with P. Diddy, he's getting old now, so but he's not making music like he used to. And especially since a lot of the things he does are behind the scenes, so like as a producer, I'm sure he'll find some way to keep going. I mean, he has a lot of connections. I'm just seeing mostly comments about Jesus and God and you just have to follow your faith. You know, when you really believe in something, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. If you found this video helpful so far, give it a thumbs up. Thank you for your support. So yeah, I mean, you know, these narcissists, they're gonna keep you waiting because it fulfills them by doing that. It doesn't do anything for them by giving you closure, the answers, a sense of resolve. Got the noise coming back. I told you, you know, a lot of these people, they keep a close eye on me. And they are quite literally watching and waiting 24 hours of the day. I mean, I am like their life. See? They try to communicate as soon as I start talking about narcissists. But they also, as you'll find with narcissists, they like to really, you know, they want to expose themselves as much as they can, but without getting caught. you know, without giving you the power. And that's what really just gives them that rush. It excites them, really makes them feel alive. But yeah, you know, they're gonna withhold closure from you, keep you waiting, because it gives them a sense of power and control when otherwise they would feel completely powerless and helpless and very insecure. So that's really what this is about. It's all just control. You know, you got to understand, narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, they're deeply traumatized, insecure people. And yet at the same time, they're in denial. They want nothing to do with themselves. So they have to try and get this power and this sense of control, the validation from outside of themselves. And of course, they get it from someone who is connected to themselves. They dump all of this onto you and they get you to connect to that and deal with it for them. So essentially, by them making you wait, they're really just turning you into their parent, their emotional caretaker. That's really what they're doing. They're putting you into a parental role. And then they just go off and just be a child and just act immature. And just play in their make-believe world. Because they lack the courage, the strength to face reality. So that's really what is going on here. That's what they're doing. And yeah, that's really it, you know, to summarize this video. I'm gonna go now do a gym workout, and I'm gonna do some more editing on this video that will be up tomorrow, which is about demonic spirits and the chosen ones. So I'm really looking forward to getting that out of there. Anyway, thank you all for watching. If you would like to help support our community, give the video a thumbs up down below. If you're new, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon, so you will be notified when I go live again and upload a new video. And also let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about what I said here? Have you been through this? Is a narcissist keeping you waiting for something? What for? And what do you think they're doing it for in your situation? Have you got anything else to add? Have you got any questions? Drop it in the comments below. Let's talk about it together. And if you would like guidance and support on your healing journey, you can book a one-on-one with me. Just go to narcsurvivor.co.uk. I appreciate all of your donations, no matter how small. You can donate by going to paypal.me/narcsurvivor. And from the 4th of June, most of the donations that go through the PayPal will be used to support Nala when she's with a pet sitter. See, they're trying to communicate. They really just want that connection. But yeah, you can also follow me on my Instagram. It is Narc Survivor YouTube. And we do have a new Facebook group. It's called Narc Survivor. So join the group and check out the posts on there. I look forward to seeing you all there. Anyway, yeah, that's it for this one. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate the support. and I will speak to you in another live video very soon.